Hey everyone, it's Elise. Welcome back to the channel, and today I want to talk about how millennials are rethinking fast-tracked FIRE. I want to talk how I think that makes sense and how you can start one thing one way, but realize that you either don't want it anymore or you can specialize it to work for you in your personal life. Really quick, please like the video. Please, please, please. It takes less than a second. Like it on the bottom left part of the screen, and hopefully it'll push it out to more people who care about the things that we talk about here in my corner of the internet. So as far as where these people started, they found out about FIRE in their 20s and their 30s, and they were rapid fire trying to save as much money as they could. But they realized as they got older, or they got closer to the time that they were going to retire, which is between the ages of 40 and 45, they realized that they had a lot more work in them and they didn't want to. And a lot of them did it for social reasons. They had the money and they realized they didn't have to work, but they realized their social connection was not strong enough to sustain that. And they are still planning to work to either do some community service or have a social network. And I think that's something we take for granted. FIRE, which is financial independence, retire early, is a noble concept because I think it gets us thinking about money in a more intentional way. However, if you do it the way that it was originally set out, if you find out about it in your 20s and your 30s, you are hustling really hard to save up that 1 to 2 million so you can retire when you're 40 to 45. That's a lot on your body. And I think these people, they realize that one, that they had a lot more work in them. It's just that they don't want to work in the way that a lot of corporate America wants us to work. The article actually highlighted a statement by the CEO from Whole Foods, and I'm going to actually read it because it's like a quoted statement. And this man, according to him, he says he doesn't understand young people who do not want to work. He doesn't understand us. Meaningful work isn't always possible. So he thinks that us aspiring to have meaningful work in our life is less than smart, because we shouldn't focus about meaningful work. We should just focus about the work that we have and be lucky to have a job. And I think that mostly it's tone deaf, but slightly it's trifling, because if people want to have meaningful work to do, they should be able to. And yes, that means they may not be able to work at your company and they might have to find other options, but we only have one life. So it's for you to say that meaningful work is not something that you can aspire to, especially in the beginning of your career, is audacious and really something he shouldn't have to say. Yes, he may hold the jobs, but we're learning now more than ever that people are rejecting that, and people want to work jobs where they can monetize their passion or have a more well-balanced life. Although I think that traditional FIRE is brutal, at least on the hours that you're gonna have to work, and you're probably gonna have to at least a middle upper class salary or making double 6 figures, it does teach you good money habits. And for that, I do think it's worth it. And if you do end up slowing down in your journey and not wanting to do the rapid fire method, you will be better off for it, because you have realized that your money needs to be directed instead of it directing you. Controversially, I think that labor makes the world go round, and labor is something that the average American is taking control of. We are taking back our time. We no longer want to work antisocial hours, and we no longer want to work for low wages in a time where what they pay us is a pittance compared to the high cost of living, no matter where you live, honestly, in the world, or most places in the world. So these people realizing that they want to control their time is something that I came to as well. I, as of last year, control my labor more so than ever in my actual working career. And I think that's the part that gets on corporate America's nerves, but it's going to be like, if you do not adjust the antisocial hours and the low pay, people are going to evolve and figure out ways to do it without you. I think we can deal with it for a good 10, 15 years, but those times of dealing with a job for 30 to 40 years are over, or almost over. These 3 people that have slowed down their fast-tracked FIRE are still using their money wisely and preparing for a time where they're made to either not work for unforeseen circumstances, or they can choose to not work as much, but they're just not going to kill themselves for it. Them saving that money is still good, because one, you don't know what you don't know, and that's what life is about, trying new things. And it's okay that they tried it and decided in the middle of the journey that either they don't want it at all, or they're going to remix it and make it work better for them. And the other thing is that it ultimately gives you more options, and there's nothing like having options, because we make plans all the time and God laughs. Like, yes, they may have been hoping to retire on their own so they can be on a beach. Then they decide they don't want to be on a beach because they're bored. However, something could happen and they need to take care of somebody, or they need to take care of themselves. They have the option because they have the money in the bank. So FIRE is still, I think, a good idea. I just think it needs to be personalized to everybody. As far as me, FIRE is about freeing up my time throughout the decades. So in my 20s, 100% I worked 40 hours a week. My 30s, 40 to 30 hours a week. My 40s, I'm hoping to work 20 and go down from then, maybe 15, maybe whatever. Because there are other things that I want to do in life. I want to have a family and I want to be present in that family. I'm kind of trying to bring the Caribbean way of life and the European way of life here to America, because yes, Caribbean people are hardworking people and a lot of them got multiple jobs, but there's also something about people who live in the islands where they don't take work that seriously. There is a committed time to enjoying yourself and living slowly. And so the way they handle their money is wiser, so they can account for that. And then the Europeans, like the Europeans be out on their own beaches, they be out on American beaches, Canadian beaches, on cruises. Them people do not live to work. It's the other way around. They work to live. And as far as that CEO that just is flabbergasted about why people live the way they live, he's going to find out really quickly, because even though we don't want to retire at 40, 45, some of us are realizing it's still going to disrupt their counted on paradigm of people working to their 70, 40 hours a week. I don't think that's happening. So what do you guys think? Do you think that FIRE fast tracked is the way to go, or are you part of FIRE and are you thinking that you are remixing it to your own? Let me know in the comments and I'll see y'all next week.